Big city bright lights, yeah, the type for a dreamer. Every dark avenue has a light full of seekers. Get lost in the sequence and finding the reason. From the top of the buildings to the edge of the beach. Big city bright lights, yeah, yeah. Big city bright lights, yeah, yeah.
I'm here because I recently founded a not-for-profit organization called SAVE. And my goal is to create awareness and prevention programming for college-age students about sexual assault and intimate partner violence. It is such a prevalent issue on college campuses today, and there needs to be some awareness about what's going on, so that's why I'm here. I can tell you that most instances on college campuses aren't reported. I think that might be a combination of, fear, not knowing who to report to, kind of a lack of understanding about what constitutes sexual assault, and kind of how to handle that.
I'm here on behalf of my peer health advocacy class. We're required to do a project during the semester on various topics. So my group was assigned the topic of relationship violence, and so we have a matching game here today. And so what we have are different scenarios and different forms of relationship violence. We hope that people will learn that relationship violence can come in many different forms, a lot of them unexpected.
We are members of Sigma Phi Epsilon, and we are here to promote the Free Hugs campaign for rape prevention. So we have these little signs here, and the idea is that you wouldn't just give somebody a hug without asking, and nor should you have sex with them without asking.
Well, I think the main issue behind assault is one that students don't think often about. And typically we think of assault as being from stranger to stranger, someone jumping out of the bushes, walking home late at night in a bad neighborhood. But in reality, the large majority of sexual assault happens from someone that you know well. And a large part of the confusion surrounding sexual assault has to do with the permission aspect of it.
We actually did a survey as part of our project, so we had like an online survey that we sent out to people through different various Facebook groups. We posted on it so people could take that. And it was really interesting because a lot of females thought it was more of an issue than males.
And I think we can really trace back the difficulties around the communication to a lot of media images and actually a lot of differences with regards to gender roles. So, for example, if we look at the male gender role, men are very much socialized to think of themselves as being a strong, agentic man, someone who goes out, who makes things happen. Also very strongly tied to this idea of masculinity is the idea of sexual conquest. So if you are a man, therefore you are having lots of sex, you are having sex frequently, and almost indirectly as a validation of your prowess, you are able to have sex with many women. On the other hand, we have women who have been socialized to be pleasers. So to be very communally oriented, to put other people's needs first, to think about making other people happy, not to rock the boat, not to be angry, not to be a bitch. And I think that when you put someone who has been socialized to put other people's needs first with someone who has been socialized to think that we really should have sex because it will validate me as a man, this is where you encounter problems.
I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make is not to talk about it, that there's some sort of mystery when you don't talk about it. It adds to the excitement. And what I find is that the opposite is true, the exact opposite. Communication about sex, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what your partner wants to do, what your partner doesn't want to do, that makes the act even sexier rather than going in making assumptions.
So I think our responsibility is twofold. One, letting women know that it is okay to say no. It is okay to say no clearly. This does not make you a bad person. This does not make you a frigid person. This does not make you an unlovable person. And if someone that you're with doesn't respect that, chances are that person does not actually value you. For men, on the other hand, I think we also need to make clear that there are many different ways to say no, but there is only really one way to say yes, and that is yes, enthusiastically. You think of things like, that is not permission. You think of things like, oh, well, maybe if you want to, dead silence is not even permission. And, if she really wants it, I promise you she will not have any trouble letting you know.
As responsible citizens, here in the university, I think we are faced, if not all the time, certainly occasionally, with circumstances that challenge that healthy environment of safety so essential to health and to growth. And I believe that it calls on each of us individually, and it calls on us as a community to take action when action is called for.
If I were at a party where I had a friend who was maybe intoxicated and it looked like she was going to go home with someone who she probably didn't want to go home with, it would be my responsibility as a good friend and a member of the University of Rochester community to go up to her and make sure she was okay and knew what she was doing. And I would hope that anyone in that sort of situation would do the same.
If you have been the victim of harassment or discrimination on the basis of sex, including instances of sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking, please know that there are many people here at the U of R and in the Rochester community who want to help you.
So we're really lucky at the University of Rochester that there are so many resources for students to go to if they're a victim of sexual assault or if they just need someone to talk to. In a former role as president of my sorority, I oftentimes referred sisters or friends to the CARE Network, which is just a really great confidential resource just to talk about issues or to look for next steps. There's also university security, university counseling services, and also UHS and the Med Center.
The offices and organizations listed on this screen are some of the many resources available to support your medical and emotional needs and to help you understand the options available if you choose to report what happened to you to the university or to the local police. If you do choose to make a report, there are processes available to help limit contact with the other party that can be put in place immediately, as well as longer-term solutions.
So the Sexual Assault Hearing Board at the University of Rochester is comprised of individuals who are really well trained and specialized in handling these type of cases. They ensure that the questions that they ask of the victim and the way they go about these hearings are very sensitive to the victim, and they make sure that they're asking appropriate questions.
A good community is a safe community. The world needs an environment like the environment at a university. The world needs people who are willing to engage with others who are different from them, to learn from them, to grow from those differences, and then to take what we know and what we have learned and the ways that we've grown out into the larger world to help make the larger world a better and, importantly, safer place.
Wait, are you sure? Life full of secrets, get lost in the sequence and finding the reason. From the top of the buildings to the edge of the beach, big city, bright lights, yeah.
Would you like a hug?
Top of the buildings to the edge of the beach, every dark avenue has a life full of secrets.
A production of the University of Rochester. Please visit us online and subscribe to our channel for more videos.